Greetings, greetings to the family, wherever you guys at in the world. I want to say welcome back to the platform where we talk about cool things pertaining to the African diaspora, museums, art, and yeah. So welcome back to the channel. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that like, share, subscribe button. Yeah, family. On our last video, I had a few comments pertaining to the topic, which was health and the importance of plants, fruits, and herbs. And I want to continue the dialogue today with the family and kind of just talk a little bit about why it's necessary, why it's important to maintain optimal health, and also want to give you guys some tips. I want to showcase some of the practitioners that I follow on YouTube, and I definitely know that you guys are up on His Excellency Dr. Sebi. If you guys do not know who Dr. Sebi is, then shame on you. I'm just kidding, family, but I want to start off the conversation, in the scripture in the Bible. If you guys turn to the book of Genesis, the first chapter in the 29th verse, it talks about how every herb yielding, what it said, every herb yielding seed that bear fruit, for that shall be food for you. Right? So it lets us know that our longevity, our health, our homeostasis is tied to fruits, plants, that which has seeds. That's God's signature. If it has seeds in it, then we understand that it can reproduce itself. It can manifest itself. And that was one of the commandments, to be fruitful and multiply. You guys follow me? So if you go to the Whole Foods and Safeway and Yes Organic Market, Mom's Organic Market, and they call themselves a whole food store. But if you find fruits that are seedless, that don't have any seeds, family, you want to stay away from that. So I not only prefer, but I only eat fruits that have seeds in them. Again, that is God's signature to you, that this is what you're supposed to be eating. Every herb yielding seed that bear fruit, right? That shall be food for you. So, putting things in context this morning, it is important that we understand what it is that we are consuming on a daily basis, because every single day, every hour, every minute, every second of the day is important to the condition or the health state that you will find yourself in down the road. So every single day counts, family. And how do we start? We only have today to live. So don't think about next year and the next 5 to 10 years. No, you want to hone in on this particular day and do the very best you can to do and to consume all things wholesome. Right? You want to You don't want to get to a place where your back up is against the wall and they telling you you need to do this and do that, or else something traumatic may happen to you. You want to always jump on the front end of these things, right? And kind of make optimal living, healthy living a part of your existence. Going to the gym is not a task. It's just what I do as a person. I get up and I go to the gym. I eating fruits and vegetables and beautiful salads. You know, it's not a burden to me. This is something that I do on a daily basis. So it isn't a task. Once you start to look at it as I'm just the type of person that do these things. I like to read and study and acquire information. It's not a burden that I crack a book or watch a lengthy documentary on health, on science, the universe, on plants, herbs, what makes a bee, what is the function of a bee, what is the function of a butterfly, how does the molecular structure of an apple works, right? I want to genuinely know these things, so that doesn't make it a burden. It's somewhat fun to engage in these type of topics because this is just the type of person I am. And that's the kind of attitude that we should have, family, when it comes to this beautiful experience called life. Yes, the planet is upside down right now. Things seemingly are haywire on the planet. But I assure you that, like in the movie The Matrix, it is said when Neo was talking to the young girl, and she said, don't try to bend the spoon, for it is impossible. Merely bend yourself. You understand? So the universe and everything in it is a reflection and extension of you. So you have the ability to bend yourself, bend the spoon, bend the universe to your will. So family, when it comes to diet and the consumption of high vibrational electrical foods and fruits, you will begin to understand that when you get sick, when an ailment befalls you, such as diabetes or cancer, it's like driving a car. If you're out of oil, you're gonna get a signal letting you know that, your oil levels is getting low. You need to go to the mechanic and get an oil change, right? If the radiator is burnt out or got a hole in the radiator, guess what? The engine or the radiator is gonna run hot so that you can take the vehicle to the mechanic to fix that. The human body is no different. When certain things happen, it is not the end of the world. Your body is simply letting you know that, relax, hold fast, you are doing something wrong. We need to take a look at these things and address them in the areas of consumption, because 90% of our ailments, family, come from what we consume, what we put in our own mouths, what we put in our skin, what we put in our minds. You understand? So we have to begin to pay attention and to listen to our physical makeup. Listen to our bodies. If something is paining you, is ailing you, it is the body communicating with you. So we need to make some adjustments now. And there are numerous cases on the internet that when you begin to address these things in the area of powerful fruits and herbs, for instance, diabetes, there's thousands and millions of cases of people being diagnosed with diabetes, and they go on a particular diet And guess what? 2, 3, 4, 5 months later, they go back to the doctor, and the doctor was like, man, I don't know what you did, but you no longer have diabetes. These things is real, family, and these things are tangible. One, you have to be able to put it in your mind that I can heal myself, and you'll turn things around for yourself. So, in order to solidify what it is that I'm saying this morning, I want to play a couple of clips for you guys to, one, show you a couple of the people that I follow, and to kind of share some of their testimonies as to how they assisted people in healing themselves. So stay tuned for that, family. Stick around.
I read a numerous report that says in the U.S., Black adults are nearly twice as likely as white adults to develop type 2 diabetes, right? Mm-hmm. All right. For those watching, what is type 2 diabetes, and why are Black people more likely to develop it?
So type 2 diabetes is basically where you have too much glucose inside of the bloodstream. And when you look at the Black people, or what I will call basically indigenous American people blood type and just a biochemical molecular structure and makeup, we have more carbon in our system and more melanin in our system than any other race. And when you look at what carbon is basically a essential part of sugar. So naturally we have more sugar in our bodies than any other species or race on planet Earth. And not only that, when you look at the foods that we eat or that we have adapted inside of the so-called Black community, we eat a lot of processed sugars, a bunch of processed foods, and a bunch of complex meats and proteins and things like that, which break down to more glucose. So you will tend to see a bunch of sugar being raised in the blood. So what happens is when you eat processed foods and you eat what you would call polysaccharides like dextrose, pentose, maltose, that's where you get the word malt liquor from, and you just see the things we eat in the community, these are called polysaccharides. Our body was created to only take in monosaccharides and disaccharides. Saccharide just means sugar. Mono means molecule. So one molecule of sugar is called a simple sugar. These are things like galactose. These are things like fructose. And these are galactose come from the mother's breast milk. Fructose come from fruit. And then glucose come from your vegetables and your nuts and your legumes and things like that. Once you start getting into complex sugars or complex polysaccharides, this is when you take simple sugars and then you fuse them with other molecules and you heat them up to high temperatures, and this is where you get high fructose corn syrup. So you got a lot of Black people in the community that like to eat junk food, they like to eat candy, they like to eat complex amino acid structures or what you call proteins. What the body is going to do when you eat all these things is try to break them down back to the simplest form. So you will take a polysaccharide and eat the polysaccharide, your body is going to break it back down into a monosaccharide, which is a simple sugar, in order to use it for fuel for the body. But it's too complex to break down because it has a carbon bind on it that keep it stuck together. So what it does is it goes into the bloodstream and it alerts the pancreas. Inside the pancreas, you have something called the islets of Langerhans. And the islets of Langerhans produces 3 cells. It produces something called the alpha cell, which produces glucagon or glycogen or glucose. Well, basically what it does, it raises the blood sugar. Then you have something called the beta cells, which actually produces insulin. Insulin lowers the sugar, and the reason how insulin lowers the sugar in the bloodstream is it acts as a key mechanism. It goes to the cell and unlocks the actual cytoplasma of the cells, and it opens the cells up for glucose can actually come into the cell to be burnt as fuel. And then you have something called the delta cells that produces a hormone called somatostatin. Somatostatin is a growth hormone. So you literally grow by your pituitary gland and you grow by your pancreas. So what happens is when complex sugar is in the blood, the hormones is going to alert, or what you would call the intrinsic nervous system, or what they call the adrenal glands. It sends melanin neurotransmitters to the brain, and it tells the brain to do a feedback loop, and it says there's too much sugar in the blood. Alert the beta cells to produce insulin. So insulin will be produced and go into the bloodstream and and basically create a glucose marker, and it allows itself to be a key to open up the cell for glucose can get into the cell. So it's playing this back and forth all day because you're eating all these complex sugars. So literally the pancreas is going back and forth between the alpha cells and the beta cells all day. Now, if you look at cells and the way cells function, it only function by way of fuel. When you burn fuel, you get all types of byproducts from it. So since you playing this teeter-totter game and you're raising your blood sugar and then you using insulin to lower it by bringing it into the cell, it gives it this back and forth system. Eventually the system wears out, and what the pancreas do is give up and it stop producing so much insulin. The moment that your body and your pancreas start malfunctioning and stop producing insulin, this is what you clinically know as diabetes.
Our people are extremely intelligent, family. You see how the brother Dr. Yaki is breaking it down, making it simple. Yo, I admonish everyone to go on YouTube and check this young brother out. He's phenomenal. He's taken the work of Dr. Sebi and took it to a whole nother level. And he has a healing retreat, a healing center down in St. Louis. So go on there, look him up, and tune in, family. So this next clip is, well, stay tuned.
When I was going through my cancer experience back in 2015, I began to look for natural ways to help my body fight the cancer. And one of the things I discovered was this fruit. Now, this is soursop. Now, it's primarily found in Central and South America as well as the Caribbean. And it is widely known for its cancer-fighting properties. Now, I know this fruit looks a bit odd, but it's absolutely delicious. Now, you can just cut it up and eat it, or you can juice it. Now, you want to make sure you take the seeds out because they are not edible. And let's talk about the texture. It has a very creamy texture, almost like a milkshake, and the flavor tastes like tropical fruit. So when you're drinking it, you feel like you're in Jamaica somewhere. But this is absolutely powerful and it's absolutely delicious. Now, this is going to give us about 14 ounces of delicious healing juice. Cheers.
So there you have it, family. Just a couple of tips to assist you guys on your healing journey. Until next time, this is your brother Samal here, tuning out just to tune back in. Remember always to put your health first and to listen to your body, family. So take care of yourselves until next time. I see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.